Greetings and welcome to the energy of Aries. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. The first house is open. We are looking at solar placements of Aries as well as lunations of Aries. Anything that has to do with Aries in terms of the first house placements, ascendant Aries. Let's see here. Yes. So today we shall be doing a reading, prognosis, divination for the month of September 2023. And of course, this is for Aries. We're going to start a bit with karma and then move directly into a reading known as the quantum triangle. Please take only what you will when it comes to this information. It is deemed by the light in order to shine onto the darkness that which we may see in terms of karma. Okay, now the quantum triangle is an interesting spread. It's a 6-card spread that shows two triangles in formation. These triangles overlap and they represent two modes of empowerment when it comes to realities. Okay, we're talking about the infinitum. We're talking about the mystery of the eight. And with the 8-8 portal opening or opened last month, there is a particularity when it comes to the resonance of the fifth house from the first. When it comes to that, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 9 houses away. So there is a certain, I would call it an accessibility through the expression of Aries that allows for the quest for truth, the quest for vision through perspectives abroad, through projections into the infinite. Okay, this is overseas, long distance. Sagittarian energy is mutable fire. Okay, and it's been activating essentially the dharmic code when it comes to the 8-8 portal. So that could affect you in terms of ninth house. It has to do with higher learning, the intellect, in terms of the intellect as a vehicle for something that is greater, or at least produces the effect of truth, or the effect of clarity when it comes to the mutability of fire. Now, when fire is mutable, there is a tendency for it to waver and to burn out of control. It also produces the right medium in terms of cardinal fire and fixed fire. The medium of that would be the mutable aspects, and that allows you to be flexible in terms of the lesson. That's through 9 houses from Leo to Aries. And before I get any further lost, we're just going to go ahead and go straight into karma, because I can be very long-winded when it comes to introductions. So let's go ahead and get started with the month of September 2023, and we'll look into the energy of the first house in Aries. But apparently, there's a sense of transcendence through the intellect. There's also the quest for truth. The guru emerges out of Aries through the portal of the Lion's Gate, and furthermore, we're going to look into the quantum triangle. Okay. Okay, there's the 9 of Cups in the upright, and that is the underscoring karma, embellished by the 2 of Rods, and moving towards the 3 of Swords. Interesting. What does this ultimately go to? Okay, the 5 of Swords. Okay, interesting. 7 of Swords in the past. Lots of swords around future and past. The idea here is to remain content in the present. There's something about the way Aries will be dealing with their cardinal energy, the solar energy, in September. That will speak of 9 months, 5 in the upright, 4 hidden months. And in the 4 hidden months, there is a sense of passivity. There's something where you couldn't do much during those 4 months in terms of bringing forward it was like you were being offered something, and you took something in the shadow, in the shadow of those 4 months. The five of cups is also there, leading to the nine, which is essentially a very objective, no touch and go sort of mentality when it comes to certain options you have in the world. The cup sequence usually indicates values, as well as romance, options, a way to value something, to receive something. And there's a sense that you've been receiving quite a great deal, but you are not actively seeking something out. There's a sense of contentment, at least when it comes to your emotional self. There's also a closed off mentality in the month of September, generally being closed off, protecting one's emotions, their values, their sense of well being. At the same time, the karma for Aries has been projective in nature through 9 houses away, using the principle of Bhavat Bhavam, from the energy of Leo to Aries. So what I'm seeing here is an ability to foster a way of thinking that will protect you. The thing is that every other card within the past and into the future is based on the sword sequence, from Seven of Swords in reverse to the Page of Swords to the Three of Swords and then to the Five of Swords. So this reading is about essentially Aquarius dominating the past and the future. There's a need to withdraw, at least mentally, to collect one's own thoughts, to observe. When you do this process, you do it from a place of complete protection, from detachment, from not really trying to meddle with the illusion of a value system, or the illusion of a certain degree of empowerment you get through choice. And this allows you to be quite objective, detached, or perhaps there's an elevation of your intellect in the month of September, to the point where you culminate to the Eight of Swords or the Nine of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords usually indicates a psychological way of protection, to going deeply within in order to objectively sort of be protected by something. So there's this double layering of protection going on. You are protected, but then what are you protecting yourself from? Essentially, it's a type of either fear or triggering that others will bring to you. There is a sense that others will come to you, particularly one other who's this Page of Swords, and essentially be a liaison or be a representative for some of the more psychological misrepresentations that are produced in society. There could be like a future of pain or a future of triviality, and people are coming to you. They're looking for advice. The thing is that you're not going to partake in that game. There's something about Aries that's very firmly sat on their throne, and there's an ability for you to completely objectify everything, to see everything for what it is on the surface, but also to know what value systems need to be protected in terms of your own thing, your own set of value, your own core thing. So it's an interesting read in terms of karma. Usually the Nine of Cups, I would say, is fixed water. This is a Scorpio card, Scorpio energy, and Scorpio, of course, is Mars, which is basically Mars rules both Aries and Scorpio, and there's a movement from the first to the eighth house when it comes to this. So dealing with others, there's a way to do it either through Mars, Mars as it is, as a cardinal energy, the action that is channeled through Aries, that just happens, reactively or perhaps impulsively, and it makes itself known through the energy and the archetype of the Fool. At the same time, there is the Death card, or perhaps Plutonic energy, that comes along with Mars through Scorpio, and that is just by interpreting one card, and that's just through the Nine of Cups. Okay. So it's very interesting. There's some sort of inheritance, I could say, that is based on the transportation of a philosophy or an ideal or a system of beliefs that you could be coming to, and people are going to try to impress this on you, but I think they'll find that you are very much inaccessible. There's something about you that is in the realm of content when it comes to the cup sequence, and that's very good. So we're going to go ahead and go into the quantum triangle, which is a reading devised by the Order of the Twin Sun to see particular energies of resonance when it comes to triangulating a mode of empowerment from two separate states of existence. You can call it past or future. You can call it two different modes of the present. But ultimately, there's like two versions of Aries that we will see here that work together to create and to bring about presence or a sense of a nowness with Aries, and we're going to look at that through the quantum triangle. So we're going to go get started. I'm using an 1890 deck for that. 9 is huge for you this month. Okay, that's 9. That was a long shuffle. Okay, so this is the mode of ascension here. This is the past. And then this is the future. Okay, there's a lot going on in terms of the future. Major Arcana, Judgment in reverse, and the World card in reverse. This is Jugement enterré. We have here ambition as an underscoring thing. Okay, so there's a great deal of, I would call it a retrograde major graha or major planet, either in the auspices of Jupiter or Saturn, that is heavily affecting this sort of action or the undercurrent of Aries when it comes to the mode of ascension. Now we have two triangles here. Here's one, and then here's two. And they make two triangles here. And that's 6 cards plus the 7th card, which is ambition in reverse. Now, when ambition comes up in terms of Jupiter's energy, Zeus is flipped over. Olympias, or Olympia, the mountain of Olympus, is turned over. There's a sense of a challenge here, one that you have that allows you to go and flip Jupiter's energy around. When that happens, the 9th house becomes the 3rd. So there's this opposition. When that occurs, there is an activation of Gemini's energy. There's something where you are here to manifest something great, to the point where you are observing and using and channeling your own resources to achieve something new or different, something quite magnificent. Let's see here. Okay, interesting. Garçon blonde to the 8 rods. It's leading up to, okay, so it's leading up to the Hermit. Edemechia, Mercury, the 9, 2 9s, no, the 8 and the 9 and the 5, 5, 8, 9, 2 court cards, and then the Hermit card. Okay, so when the Hermit is here, there is a movement towards the 8 indicated here, the 8 of Pentacles. It could also be a movement back to the 4. When this occurs, there's something about the movement of your energy, your resources. But this is a type of conservation where you fold back that currency, you fold back that billfold, your time, you fold it back, you curtail it to yourself so that you can approach Edemechia, which is the path of Merkaba, the path of the secret key to manifesting a great deal. Okay. That's the interesting thing about Virgo, is that there's this almost ritualistic or preternatural way of doing things that has methodology in it. There's a way and a method that you are attracting now into your life that has to do with resolving and maintaining resources, and then building that towards method, towards a practice, towards a new way of work, or a way to work things out in terms of your own path, especially if you're going deeply within. Now, when it comes to the past, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Swords in reverse. Now that's interesting because Three of Swords did show up in the karma section as a future outcome that the Page of Swords takes from. So there is a way to maintain resources or perhaps give off in order to pay off certain people so that pain is alleviated. It's like debt and then getting rid of that debt somehow, but then the debt being some form of mental capital. The transaction being some sort of mental alleviation, okay? So you have to pay your dues in the past, okay? In the future, there's a lot going on, but firstly, we're going to go into this mode of ascension. So as those two realities work out together, Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Swords in reverse, what comes out of it, essentially, is a sense that debt is alleviated by some sort of mental value system, transference of a mental thing. And this has to do with communication. It has to do also with a type of healing with Three of Swords in reverse. It also has to do with the sense that you have to give off something to gain something. The Four of Pentacles that we talked about earlier. Four of Pentacles is also here in the reverse. You have to give off something in order to gain something. Four of Rods in the reverse. Okay, so what I see here is a sacrifice of some sort of prosperity with others in order to close or to maintain a sense of order. And that is the mode of ascension. There's something about the mystery of the 4 and the 4 and the 8 that comes from it that allows for a sense of prosperity through the closure of some sort of transaction. It's very much in the past and the present, but you're coming to a sense of a closing of something. This has to do with the way of doing things, becoming independent primarily, becoming on your own, and not having to deal with others when it comes to choices. Like you choosing towards them choosing towards you, it almost being something like an arbitrary thing, the way it turns out. I like this because with the infinity is very much pointed at here with the 4 and the 4 making 8, which is the 8. Granted, it's from fire to earth, so there's this like vitreous quality to this reading in terms of ascension, a sense of clarity or a sense of magnification, or a telephoto effect, wherein you can use light and refract it or diffract it in a certain way to enhance it, to give a sense of clarity. I like this. In the future, there is a possibility of judgment in reverse, closing off old projects, making sure they are buried, and calling clear judgment on certain situations that have ended. Okay, letting them end. There also is the World card in reverse. There's a lot about turning around or upside down. I think Scorpio season is going to have a huge effect on people, and as we approach Libra season, the 7th house will be activated for Aries. And Scorpio is about 8 houses away. So what I'm seeing here is a possibility of a transformation of relationships, a letting go of certain relationship, and letting that sort of go with the times. Also, old or outmoded ways of thinking, of doing, or seeing things, or perhaps the paradigms that people are affected by. They come to you with these paradigms, these ways of doing things that may be even outdated. When it comes to romance or pleasure or work or social interactions with family or friends, there's a way of doing things that is not going to have a certain sense of reanimation, meaning that people from the past are going to be stuck there, and they're going to be sort of buried there or kept there. And there's a sense of clarity in terms of judgment and a world turning upside down in order to procure that through Leo's energy primarily. Okay. So, in terms of advice, clarity is on the horizon. This comes through the 2nd house and Taurus's energy. There also is a sense of temperance on the horizon. So you must find a way to alchemize the differences you find with other people, to convert the cups of expectation that you are primarily hesitant, according to this reading, this general reading, of actually partaking in, not to drink from the cup, even though it may seem very tempting. It all leads to essentially more thirst, in a way, or the causal chain of things, the unbroken chain, the eternal flame, all of this. Sagittarius and Gemini are very strongly pointed to. I mentioned this already before, that the ninth house and the third houses are huge. Now, one way to approach people when it comes to this, if you've already transformed, you're on the path to going through something through the lion's gate that already occurred, there's something about looking at these people and trying to understand where they come, how they ground themselves from the earth, as well as a sense of gravity that they have when it comes to them trying to find their inner self and produce that in an outerly way, to manifest that in an outerly way. There's a sense of identity crisis, and what a lot of people are going through. And if you approach these people, they will be like mirrors, but at the same time, you can convert the cups of love into anything else in terms of the alchemy that's secretly hidden in the Two of Cups, okay? And the Temperance card. So that is the best I can do for this month. I do wish you well, my dear Aries. Thank you. Bye-bye.